Welcome, student in engineering mechanics classroom. So now I'm going to discuss the 10th lecture on area moment of inertia. As you know, mass moment of inertia that already we have discussed, and that is required for the circular motion, where I alpha, we know that torque equals to I alpha. This I was the area moment, mass moment of inertia. Whereas area moment of inertia is necessary to find out the deflection of beam. In case of under the action of force, when rigid body tends to bend, so what resistance is provided by the beam, that depends on the area moment of inertia. So in this lecture we'll try to find out the area moment of inertia of some common geometric figures and some combination of the figures. I'm starting with area moment of inertia. Let's consider a geometry of area. Area of this section is A, capital A, and in this area consider a infinitesimally small area, elementary area D, and the distance of dA area from x and y axis is respectively y and x, and from the origin it is the distance r. Now when we are measuring the area moment of inertia about this z axis, which is perpendicular to the plane of this area, then it is called the polar moment of inertia. But when it is about x or y axis, then it is called area moment of inertia. So first start to find out the area moment of inertia. The formula is similar to the mass moment of inertia that I have discussed in the last lecture of mass moment of inertia. Here we are only using x, indicates the x axis, means this axis x, ix or ix, xx, both is about this x axis, and the perpendicular distance of this elementary area from the x axis is y, so it is y squared dA. It should be recall that in case of mass moment of inertia, it was r squared dm. Instead of dA, it was dm, means a small mass, and that's why that was termed as mass moment of inertia, whereas it is dA, so it is area moment of inertia. Both the calculation is similar. Now in case of iy, means about y axis, what's the distance? X. So iy or equals to iyy, in some books it is written as iyy equals to x squared dA. Here we are avoiding the inertia term, and that's why we have discussed that the moment of inertia is inertia. In that case, several terms is there to represent, two subscript is required. But here in area moment of inertia, we are not going to that part, and that's why simply we are representing as ix, not ixx. So ix equals to y squared dA, whereas iy equals to x squared dA. And about the z axis, the distances r. From the z axis, this distance is r, so it is r squared dA, and this is termed as the polar moment of inertia. Now you can use the parallel axis theorem. Means what? Say G is the centroid and XZ is the axis passing through the centroid. The parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem that we have applied to calculate the mass moment of inertia, same can be applied here also. So if the another axis x is there at a distance of y by from this axis, and we know the value of ixg and ix for the same area, the area moment of inertia about this xg axis is ixg, whereas about x axis is ix, and the distance between these two parallel axes is y bar, and total area is E. Then this relation holds good for area moment of inertia also, like mass moment of inertia. Now, to find out the mass moment of inertia, it is necessary to know the position of centroid about some common geometric figures. Though it does not belong in that syllabus, but to some extent I am going to discuss it. Because you see that in the equation of when we are using parallel axis theorem, then one term y bar is there, which is the distance between two parallel axes. One is passing through the centroid, other is any axis. So from that axis to centroidal axis, distance is y bar. It is also the coordinate of the centroid. So we have to find out what's the coordinate of this centroid. So let's consider this area. Any arbitrary elementary area here is dA. The distance of the axis is x and y respectively. And G is the centroid of this area. And the distance of the centroid from y and x axis is x bar and y bar. This x bar and y bar is the coordinate of this centroid. What's the formula to find out this coordinate of centroid? The formula is y bar equals to y dA, integration of y dA by integration of dA, and x bar equals to integration of x dA by integration of d. This equation also holds good to find out the center of mass also. In that case, it will be dm. Instead of dA, it will be dm. Now, using these formulas, we are getting some of the common area. Few of the values we already know. Say it is a rectangular section, and the position of y and x axis is along this. And we know the centroid of this rectangle is at the middle or at the intersection of the diagonal. If the dimension of the rectangle is h and b, then this distance is b by 2 and this is equals to h by 2. Means coordinate of x bar equals to b by 2 x bar and y bar is h by 2. Similarly, in case of triangle, if the axis is like this and this, then x bar equals to 0 because it lies on y axis, so x bar equals to 0, and y bar distance is from h by 3. Point should be noted here carefully that what is this h? Height. Here height means about which axis we are measuring the distance. From the x axis we are measuring the distance, so this is the height. If from the y axis we measure the distance, then in the direction may be the height. Okay. Now it is a semicircle. In case of semicircle, if the axis is along this, the position of coordinate centroid is here. Means at y-axis. So x bar is 0, and from and x-axis is along the diameter. So from here, this distance is 4r by 3 pi. Using this for all these value can be calculated using this formula that we are not discussing here. Using this formula, if we integrate considering the elementary area, we can get these values. In case of circle, the axis passing through the centroid, then x0, y0, because the centroid of the circle is at the center, geometric center, means that is equals to x0, x bar 0, y bar 0. In case of quarter circle, if both the axis is diameter axis and perpendicular like this, then both distance is 4r by 3 pi and 4r. Now, how to find out the position of centroid of a composite section? Let's consider the entire area, capital A, of the 3 sub areas. This area 1, area 2, and area 3. Now, if we know the position of centroid of individual segment 1, 2, and 3 respectively, then using that data we can calculate the centroid of the overall section. Let us consider here G1 is the position of centroid of section 1, and means the coordinate of this G1 point is x1 and y1, which is known to us. Position of centroid of section 2 is x2 and y2, and similarly that is for section 3. The centroid of the total section is G, and the coordinate of the G is x bar and y bar. Now, how we can calculate the value of x bar and y bar in terms of this given x1, x2, x3, y1, y2, y3? Then, already I have told you the formula to find out the coordinate is y bar equals to integration of y dA by integration of area, and this is equals to integration. But in case of this type of composite section, integration, instead of integration, we will use summation method. Summation of ai yi. Here I indicates the ith section, means here I varies from 1 to 3. I equals to 1 means the section 1, I equals to 2 means section 2, I equals to 3 means this. So summation of ai yi means a1 y1 plus a2 y2, a3 y3. Summation of ai means a1 plus a2 plus a3. Similarly, that is equals to x bar. Now, all these value, area of the individual segment and distance of the corresponding segment x1, x2, x3, y1, y2, y3 is known. So, substituting these values, we can get the value of y bar and x bar. Now, how to find out the area moment of inertia of rectangle with centroid at the origin? This rectangle, or centroid is at the origin, and the axis is passing through the centroid. We have to find out the area moment of inertia. Then, what's the formula? We know that is y square dA is the formula. Consider for IGX, it is y square dA. IGX means about x-axis. So about x-axis, consider an element, this element at a distance of y, thickness dy. So area dA of this elementary section equals to b total length into dy height. So y square dA can be substituted as y square dA. B dy is the dA as given. What's the limit for this area? When this area is here, it is minus h by 2. If it is h by 2, if this is equals to h by 2. So total length here is h. So this is equals to h by 2. So when this section is here, then value is minus h by 2. Value of y is minus h by 2. And when it is here, it is plus h by 2. So y varies from minus h by 2 to h plus h by 2. So integrate and substitute the value of h, and we are getting igx equals to bh cube by 12. And similarly, to find out IGY, we will consider an elementary area parallel to y-axis. To find out IGX, we have considered the elementary area parallel to x-axis. To find out IGY, parallel to elementary area parallel to y-axis, and at a distance of x and thickness is dx. So similarly, the formula is x square dA, where dA equals to h dx. H dx. H is the height, dx is the thickness, so h dx is the area. Similarly, substitute, and the limit is here minus b by 2. Limit of this x. Here it is minus b by 2, here it is plus b by 2, as total width is b. Then substituting that, we are getting a is b cube by 12. Here point should be noted. What is b? Here b is the dimension. In general, to remember these formulas, b is cube by 12. So irrespective of ix or iy, remember b is the distance parallel to the axis, h is the distance perpendicular to the axis. This word is true for both the equation. B is the distance, the dimension parallel to the axis. So what is B here? Parallel to axis. Then in general we can remember that B is cube by 12 is the formula. B is parallel to B is cube by 12 is the formula of rectangular cross section, rectangular section, area moment of inertia, where B is parallel to axis. Here what is the axis? X is the axis. So B is parallel to x axis, and H is perpendicular to x axis. Then using the perpendicular axis theorem, we can find out the polar moment of inertia also, means about z axis. So what is z axis? Z axis is perpendicular to the plane of the area, and from perpendicular axis theorem we know that the z equals to ix plus iy. Here it is igx plus igy. In everywhere we have mentioned g. Why? Because both these axes x and y passing through the centroid. So ix, igx and gy both is centroidal axis. The axis that is passing through the centroid is called centroidal axis. So here igx, this one and igy both is passing through the centroid. Y and x both is passing through centroid. So it is called centroidal axis. So about the centroidal axis, the area moment of inertia formula is bh cube by 12. Whereas the polar moment of inertia is summation of this. Now, if the axis is not centroidal, rather axis is along the base, then how we can get the value of this moment of area moment of inertia for this section? We already know igx value. So what is IGX? IGX equal to BH cube by 12. Where what's the area? Area equals to B into H. Then use the parallel axis theorem because both the axes is parallel. What's the distance between these two? That is termed as y bar equals to what? H by 2. So y bar equals to H by 2. Substitute these values. Then get Ix. IGX known base cube by 12. Ix equals to finally base cube by 3. Summing up this. Now we are going to derive the equation of area moment of inertia of a isosceles triangle. The dimension of the triangle, height of the triangle is h. One axis is along the base, other axis is passing through the centroid to the middle. This is y-axis. Now, to find out that, we know again the formula equals to Ix equals to y square du. Then we have to define this dA, smaller area d. Consider an elementary area d at a distance of y from the axis, x-axis, and thickness is dy. As the thickness is dy is very small, so we can consider this elementary area is a rectangular area, and then the area of this elementary area equals to b dy. We are assuming that this length here is b into dy, the height. Now we have to find out the relation between b, this y, b and this y. So use this triangle OPQ and OMN. It is similar triangle. So base by base means small b by capital B equals to height. This height by total height. This height equals to what? Capital H minus y. This height equals to capital H minus y. And total height is this. Capital H. So from here we are getting the relation between small b and y. Now this dA will express dA in terms of y and substitute in the equation y square dA. Now our variable is y. So what's the variation of y? From here y equals to 0 and from here at here x equals to capital H, y equals to capital H. So limit of this integration is 0 to capital H. Integrate and simplify. So we are getting Ix equals to bh cube by 12. Ix means about x-axis, the area moment of inertia equals to bh cube by 12. Again here also this b indicates parallel to the axis and h indicates perpendicular to the axis. Similarly, if we have to find out IGY, then we will take this section like this, and similarly we will get this value b HB cube by 12 for IGY about this axis. Now we have determined Ix, but if we need to know about the center here, Ix is not centroidal axis because we know that the centroid is at a h by 3 height from the base, and this axis is not passing through the centroid. So this Ix is not centroidal axis. If we are asking to find out the area moment of inertia about centroidal axis, then how to calculate? Then we will use the parallel axis theorem. Here Ix equals to Igx plus Ay square, that we know from the parallel axis theorem. And already the value of Ix we have calculated bh cube by 12. area of the triangle half into base into height. The distance between the parallel axis means one axis is x and another axis is centroidal axis, which is at a distance of h by 3. So distance of this y equals to h by 3. This is also termed as y bar, h by 3. So substitute these values and you are getting Igx equals to Bh cube by 36. So separately Igx you need not find out. So using this equation you can get the value of Ig. Here Ix equals to, now it is the area moment of inertia of a circle with centroid at origin. So the axis is passing through the centroid. Let's consider this the x and the y axis respectively, and we have considered an elementary area like this. Position of elementary area is at a distance of r and thickness is dr, and it makes an angle of d theta. Here this angle is d theta at the center at a distance of theta from x axis, angular distance of theta from x axis. So you can write down here this is equals to r d theta. So these and these both is r d theta, as this change is negligible. And we can assume that as it is infinitesimally small, so this area is a rectangle. So dA equals to dr into r d theta. Now about the z axis, if we find out Iz about z axis, this particular distance is r, so r square dA. And substitute dA, that I have told you, dA equals to r dr d theta. R d theta is this distance, this is equals to dr. So totally, as it is rectangular, so r dr d theta. Again, theta and r is here independent. So separately we can integrate it. What's the variation of the theta? Theta is varying from theta. Here it is 0, and when after rotating here it is 2 pi, 360 degree or 2 pi radian. So 0 to 2 pi is the limit of theta. Whereas r, when the elementary area is here, then r equals to 0, and here it is r equals to capital R. So 0 to r. So the limits are 0 to limits of theta is 0 to 2r, 2 pi, and limit of r is 0 to r. So you can integrate any one first. So let's integrate with respect to r first. So it is r square into r means r cube dr. Substituting that and putting the limit, we are getting r to the power 4 by 4. And again, differentiate with respect to theta, 0 to 2 pi limit, so 2 pi. So 2 pi r to the power 4 by 4. Or the polar moment of inertia, as it is about at the axis here is perpendicular to the plane of the area. So this moment of inertia, area moment of inertia, is called polar moment of inertia, and that's why it is denoted by J. Whereas area moment of inertia is denoted by I. So Jz equals to pi r to the power 4 by 2 after simplification of these terms. Now, if we need to get Ix, how you can find out Ix? We know Ix equals to r square dA, y square dA. Then represent y in terms of r. This is equals to r, this is equals to theta, so y equals to r sin theta. So replace here r sin theta. And the limit is 0 to 2 pi and 0 to r. Then integrating and simplifying, we are getting pi r to the power 4 by 4. Ix. Similarly, you also can get Iy, the same value, pi r to the power 4 by 4. And we also can use the perpendicular axis theorem, and we can verify that Iz equals to Ix plus Iy, or Iz equals to 2 pi a. to Ix. So Ix equals to Iy equals to Jz by 2 equals to pi r to the power 4 by 4. Now, if the area it is a semicircle, similar approach, and the x-axis is passing through the diameter, and another is this y-axis is this. Then by similar method, but only change is there here. Limit of the theta is not 2 pi, but it is pi, and rest is same. Then simplifying, we are getting pi r to the power 4 by 8. And similarly, Iy is also pi r to the power 4 by 8. In case of r to the power 4, we will give x square dA. Again, x square dA, x means r cos theta. Here, y means r sin theta. This is the r, this is the theta. So, this x equals to r cos theta, whereas x equals to r cos theta, whereas y equals to r sin theta. But in both the cases, we are getting the same result. And in case of quarter circle, again similar equation, only difference is here limit of theta is 0 to pi by 2. And we are getting pi r to the power 4 by 16. Area moment of inertia of annular centroid at the origin. Annular means here this type of section, hollow area. Let's consider the interior and exterior area. Outside area is R1 and small r1 and small r2 respectively. Then the polar moment of inertia about the z-axis, Iz equals to Iz2 minus Iz1, because we know that mass moment of inertia and area moment of inertia both is additive in nature. So for the this shaded part, it can be considered the moment of inertia of the entire section minus moment of inertia of this hollow part. So this is Jz equals to Jz2 means for the external portion and Jz1 internal portion. So subtract this and get this. This is the area moment of inertia of this annular section. And area moment of inertia of composite area, then you just have to add it as it is additive in nature. So Ix, if there is the three different section 1, 2 and 3, then Ix equals to Ix1 plus Ix2 plus Ix3. Similarly, if there is any hollow part, then you have to subtract like this one to get the moment of inertia about a particular axis of the whole section. Here, point should be noted clearly that Ix1, Ix2, Ix3 all should be measured from same axis. Then only you can add. If Ix1 is measured from with respect to one axis, say x1 axis, it is from x2 axis, it is from x3 axis. So different axes are there, then you cannot add it. So in that case, use parallel and perpendicular axis theorem to convert in a single axis, and then only you can add. In the next topics in details, with an example, we'll explain it better. The references that I have used to prepare this video lecture is given here. Okay, student, this is almost all about the area moment of inertia, and in the next lecture, means in our coming 11th lecture on engineering mechanics, we are going to solve some numericals on area moment of inertia. For we will use the parallel and perpendicular axis theorem that is also applicable of mass moment of inertia. Thank you for attending this class and for your patience. Thank you.